Have you ever apologized to a table you bumped into, suddenly started scrubbing baseboards when a massive work project is due, or immediately flipped on the TV the second you walked into an empty house? Society usually labels these behaviors as simple personality traits. We call the constant apologizer polite, the procrastinating cleaner undisciplined, and the person who needs background noise someone who just likes the company. These labels overlook the biological reality. These quirks function as highly active subconscious survival responses. This diagram shows how your brain processes modern friction. When you experience a low-stakes annoyance, that stimulus bypasses your logic centers entirely. It hits an ancient threat-detected node, treating awkward social interactions with the same biological urgency as a physical predator. Without understanding these nervous system responses, a person often spends their life fighting their own mind, unaware of the psychological armor they wear every day. Consider the chronic apologizer. Imagine sitting in a room where you are intensely tracking every slight shift in energy, anticipating someone else's bad mood, and preparing to say sorry for simply existing. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, a state where the brain prioritizes survival over self-expression. By constantly scanning for emotional danger, the nervous system attempts to predict and prevent conflict before it starts, a trait often developed in environments where emotional safety was conditional or unpredictable. As an adult, this translates into noticing tiny facial expressions or slight drops in tone immediately. Your nervous system registers these minor subtle shifts as direct, immediate threats to your standing in the group. Instead of fighting or running away, you activate a trauma response known as fawning. You attempt to secure safety by immediately complying and over-apologizing, sacrificing your own boundaries to maintain the peace. Chronic apologizing serves as a highly calculated tactic to stabilize a volatile room and guarantee the apologizer's safety. Then there is the tension of the quiet room. For some, stepping into complete silence doesn't bring peace. It induces an immediate wave of panic. When you strip away external noise, your internal world becomes the primary focus. Without distractions, your brain amplifies your unprocessed thoughts, anxieties, and the decisions you have been avoiding. This visual shows how external noise acts as an emotional shield. The chaotic, jagged frequencies of internal anxiety are flattened out the moment you introduce a steady, predictable wave of sensory input, like a familiar TV show. Your nervous system gains a sense of micro-stability through this predictability. Relying on this continuous sensory overload has a significant cost. It trains your brain to crave constant external stimulation, which actively degrades your ability to reflect on complex ideas or tolerate even a minute of boredom. Keeping a podcast or playlist running 24/7 is an active avoidance tactic designed to block out the discomfort of internal reflection. Finally, there is the overwhelmed procrastinator. You sit down at a high-pressure workspace to tackle a critical project, but the pressure feels so crushing that you suddenly decide your keyboard needs a deep clean instead. Your mind is locked in analysis paralysis. When a project is massive and ambiguous, your brain calculates a high probability of failure, and starting the work feels like an immediate threat to your ego. This diagram illustrates how your dopamine reward loop reacts to that pressure. When your brain looks at the massive task, it sees a long, flat line of effort with no immediate reward. Next to it is a short loop with a bright spike representing a trivial task. To escape that anxiety, your brain pivots to the short loop, securing instant gratification to regain control. Overwhelm-induced procrastination is the brain actively protecting the ego from the perceived threat of failure. These behaviors prove your nervous system is highly efficient and adaptive. It has learned exactly how to protect you from the pressures of your environment. To stop fighting your own mind, you have to update these ancient survival protocols for your current life. You have to implement manual overrides. The first override targets your internal threat response. Sit with yourself for 10 minutes with absolutely zero background noise. This discomfort is the mechanism by which you deliberately build mental processing strength. The second override hacks your dopamine loop to bypass analysis paralysis. Use the 5-minute momentum rule. Commit to working on the scary task for exactly 5 minutes. This tiny victory secures an immediate micro-win that naturally pulls your brain forward. True mental strength means recognizing your brain's ancient defense mechanisms. acknowledging their intent to protect you, and deliberately choosing to step out from the shield.